good evening, and whatever else Shiz says. I'm not really paying attention when he gives his intro. But this is the Second and One podcast. Here we talk about sports, politics, and everything in between. Today we have with us Brother Mo Snell.
Yep.
And we have my brother Charles Ransom Pope.
Yes. Happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, happy holidays.
Happy holidays. How you guys doing tonight?
Happy Festivus to the rest of us.
Oh, excuse me. Happy Festivus to the rest of us.
Because you never know, man. Somebody might be Jewish or
That's right.
Christian. You don't want to cross the line.
That's right. We welcome all denominations to come listen
man.
to the gospel.
I celebrate Hanukkah.
Good l'chaim.
That's why I got my jungle hat on, because I'm ready to go back.
You ready to? They got jungles in Israel?
Yeah, they do. Sand jungles.
That good old West Nile.
I'll
tell you what, I'd feel a heck of a lot better if a certain Bayless was on the show right now. He's ducking me.
Shiz, yeah,
that's right.
Shiz wanted us to let the world know he's at Walmart doing late night shopping for Christmas, so he couldn't be here with us.
Man, you gotta stay out of that place, man.
You gotta stay out of Walmart, man.
Well, all right.
I know he's looking for the vaccine, and he thinks it's there, but it's not.
It's not on any pallets or anything like
that. You're gonna find a lot of things at Walmart. The COVID vaccination. You're gonna find COVID, but not the COVID vaccination.
Yeah, exactly.
You can find that in abundance.
All right, so we're gonna kick this off how we do every week. We're gonna kick it off with our taking a shot, where we give a bold prediction about something that's going on in sports, or we give kind of a theory on the future outcomings of somebody or some team in sports. So we're going to start it off with our guest, Charles.
Okay. My taking a shot this week for this particular episode is going to pertain to boxing.
Oh, nice. We've never talked about boxing. I like it.
Yeah, I'm a huge boxing fan, as you all well know. Over the years, I'm a huge boxing. That's the thing I've followed closely.
Yeah, I mean,
over all the sports.
I mean, yeah, you got me in the boxing. I mean, before coming over your house, like every Saturday, I didn't watch boxing.
Yeah, I was. I mean, Pop got me into it. You know what I mean? So with that being said, my hot take is, I don't think we're going to get either fight that the world wants to see in 2021. Mainly the Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury unification match, and the Terrence Bud Crawford, Errol Spence match. Everybody wants to see those two unification fights, and they've been dancing around each other for years.
Yeah,
it's neither one is going to happen because the politics of boxing. It's just, I wish it could happen, because I think the Fury Joshua fight would be excellent to watch, excellent. But it's just, I just don't think it's gonna happen, and it's sad because that's why boxing is getting lapped by UFC right now, and it's a shell of itself. Boxing used to be like the big thing, but now not so much. So that's my hot take. 2021, keep waiting. We're not going to see any of the super fights that we want to see. Neither one of them.
What do you think about that, Mo?
I absolutely agree, especially with those heavyweight fights. I definitely don't think you get to see Errol Spence versus Bud Crawford without. Well, the big thing I think is, outside of the politics of boxing, which is insane. Yeah. I think without the fans in the stands, though, they really don't want to make those type of fights happen. Mm-hmm. I think you may get you probably have a better chance of getting like an Errol Spence Manny Pacquiao at this point than per se Errol Spence Bud Crawford or Errol Spence Canelo type fight. Like, it's just those type of fights, those mega fights, they're just not going to happen without fans in the stands. Like, I don't. So as long as they can push that Bud Crawford Errol Spence fight back, they will. I think. Yeah. I think a lot of the super fights at a lot of big fights at a lot of different weights are just not going to happen. I think you'll see a lot of people taking fights almost like the Errol Spence Danny Garcia. Like, that's a big fight, and it's like almost like is Errol Spence really back from the car crash? But this, if he wins, it's not like he wasn't supposed to win.
It was a good tune-up fight to take.
Yeah, good tune-up fight.
Keep his skills sharp.
So the same thing. I think you probably see you see like the Bud Crawford versus what's the guy that runs in with his head down and just fights all the time from Detroit.
You're talking about Keith Thurman?
No, Sean Porter. So something. So you know what I mean, like a Bud Crawford, Sean Porter, where that's a good fight, but that's not necessarily something that's like.
Fight.
That's not the fight that we want to see.
Is that the fight that you want to see? And it's not necessarily like the
fight we deserve.
The fight that we deserve, or the fight that
I think it's more about like what Mo said, like it's the fight that we're gonna pay for, like that everybody's gonna pay for.
It's worthy. It's definitely worthy of paying for. But if that fight's not in like Omaha, Nebraska, you're probably not filling up the seats anyway. So
it's one of those. Yeah, I agree. I just think with the Crawford and Spence fight, it even before COVID, all of 2019, they danced around it. So I mean, now it was not gonna happen before. Now it's definitely not happening. I thought we had a better shot of getting Joshua versus Fury. But Joshua fucked the money up by losing to Ruiz.
Yeah,
that's what started the whole domino effect. Had he won, I firmly believe that they would have at least got the fight signed by now, or they might have fought by now. But sadly, not like. Sadly, I just feel like, and you got Wilder in the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all know he's gonna lose again.
So Mo brought up a really good point. It's like, well, both of you guys did. It's the politics. The politics messed it up. Then COVID kind of just made it easier to bump it back because they're not going to make a lot of money. Like as Mo said, I wasn't even thinking about filling up those stands, seats. You're not gonna. For one, you can't fill them because of COVID, but you want to be in an atmosphere or environment where you can fill them up, and those would be fights where everybody's going to come out. You're going to get big Hollywood stars. Wherever you go, you're going to pack it. If you schedule those fights, the ones that you were talking about, but I can see them doing those tune-up fights. You know what I mean? That Mo was talking about. They're good fights, but they weren't expecting to pack a stadium. Fight. Like I can see them doing that as kind of like a warm-up.
Yeah.
And when you think about boxing, when you think about it, the politics really makes boxing up because when you have two fighters that can give you a good performance, they usually fuck it up. And you only have a window of about a year or two for these guys to stay, top athletes, top boxers and fight. Floyd and Manny, they fought when they were two old men coming out of a bar.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It was still a fight, but it was just what would that fight have been 2 or 3 years ago?
Yep.
You know what I mean? I think it's going to be the same thing when we finally do get these other fights. It's going to be like, all right, what the fight could have been, 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah. I think somebody needs to come into boxing and really streamline it. I think there's too many belts, which causes
and then it's you got too many belts. Then you got
too many mandatory title defenses too for each belt.
And then you got PBC holding up their group of guys and Top Rank holding their group of guys.
It's literally Bob Arum on one side and Al Heyman on the other side, and they both hate each other. For obvious, for one good reason and one bad reason. And I think the bad reason is they don't like Al Heyman because he's a black man in this sport that kind of controls half the good fighters in the world. I hate to say that's how petty things are and how ridiculous it is, but there's no other reason why Terrence Crawford and Spence should not have fought last year or at some point sign the fight for this year. And they're never gonna unless Bob Arum or Al Heyman walks away or takes the low end of the deal. It's not gonna happen. And I agree with what you're saying though, Mo, that if you get that Anthony Joshua Fury fight, they're gonna fight in England. And there's going to be 150,000 fans at Wembley Arena. And they're fighting in Vegas, the Spence and Crawford fight. That's like an old school 80s super fight. You know what I mean? You're going to see Denzel and Jack Nicholson over there.
Yeah.
You might see Donald Trump.
You'll see everybody.
You really might see Donald out there.
You know what I mean? You might see Sleepy Joe. They might get it in on the undercard.
Yeah.
Speaking of boxing and Denzel Washington, remember that meme that came out of his face when he was at that boxing fight? And his mouth got real ashy and his lips got cold and he came out first.
He had those veneers, those fresh veneers. Yeah. But I agree. Snell, as soon as you said what you said, I could not agree more with that. It's Bob Arum versus Al Heyman, but even if they were to agree, there wouldn't be anything to happen at least until the end of next year.
Yeah, they need, like you said, they need one governing body. It's like the NBA, or NFL. If you just had I'd
use UFC.
or you UFC. The UFC
Let's fight. Let's get it going. Let's go.
Yeah, UFC exactly. UFC, they just go. Best fight happens. There's that's it. But when you have these,
but I think not to cut you off, but I think UFC is going to start to get real tricky too because a bunch of fighters. I was telling Charles a couple days ago, a bunch of fighters got together and they're suing Dana White.
It's about time. It's about time
for pay. Because I didn't know they didn't get paid a lot of money. They get paid peanuts compared to boxers.
Oh yeah, like, outside of McGregor and Khabib.
Yeah,
McGregor's the draw and Khabib's the champ. Nobody else, and Bones Jones gets millions, but after that, nobody gets anything.
There's a reason they got all those sponsors on those shorts.
No,
it's
the truth. It's the truth, man.
And it's crazy because I mean they're both full contact sports, but I feel like MMA is a little bit more dangerous.
It's definitely way more dangerous.
I feel like they should be getting paid more, if not the same, as boxers, because I think they can pull in that money.
Yeah.
So, you got to think about it this way. If they're not getting paid the money, who's getting the money? Dana White. And
well, he's the people that bought Zuffa Entertainment and the UFC. But Dana's he's still the facilitator. So he takes a check at this point, a big check though, and it sucks, man, because I mean, you look at all the top pay-per-view events from the last like 5 or 10 years outside of the Floyd fights, it's all UFC, and McGregor has the top 2 draws in pay-per-view history. Him and Khabib, and him and Floyd. So you'd figure that they would capitalize off that and say, we're getting 2-3 million pay-per-view buys. Where's the money? Yeah. Well, it's all going to Dana White.
And I feel like at this point, I think it would be easy enough for maybe a billionaire or two to get together, create their own, and they can take all the fighters because all they got to do is pay them more.
Yeah, I mean, contractually, it might get messy.
The UFC is in a rare spot they're the only league. They're the only one. Like,
I mean, there's others.
They got Bellator, but it's not anywhere near.
It's not even close. So, like, even with the NFL, you at least have the NCAA. Like, college football is still big.
Yes,
to an extent, but with UFC, it's like such a boom or bust that they can control the money. Yep. Like if you're not in the UFC,
where else you gonna go?
Exactly, like you just fighting.
Yeah, you're gonna go to Bellator and get paid even less. So
exactly.
Isn't 50 Cent like the GM of Bellator? Correct me if I'm wrong. Curtis,
he might be
the GM.
Curtis,
he might be.
But now I agree 1,000,000,000%. We're not gonna get the fights that we deserve until COVID. No. But even maybe I should pull back and say the hot take is even if in a perfect world we still would not be getting either one of those fights, and maybe a snowball's chance in hell would be the Joshua Fury fight at the end of next year, maybe. But outside of that, we're not getting the 2 fights that we really, really, really like Todd said, we would pay to watch.
Yeah. All right. So moving on. Brother Most Mel Snell, what is your taking a shot?
Oh, this one is I think this is where I'm going with it. After what I've seen, after the performance I just witnessed, I think Mike Tomlin is done. I think he's tired. I think Big Ben's gonna be done. I think he's gonna leave too. I think that's it. I've seen enough. I've seen enough. They won't win a playoff game. I think the 10 years over. We're running into the same cycle of how you couldn't control AB. I think Juju is about to go down that same path of we can't control Juju. Like it's going to be like the same cycle all over again of we're good. Our superstars get out of control. We got to trade them off, take a step back, do the whole thing all over again. And I think they're not going to let that cycle continue. I think Tomlin is going to move on. I don't think he gets fired. I think he's going to move on though. I think he's going to go to a different organization.
Really?
That's my thought, because right now it's shifting to a spot of there's a lot of different excuses being thrown around, and it's starting to get divided down, and it's going to be one common denominator. It's like, well, Mike Tomlin has been the coach for the whole, like it's going to fall on him. And I think he's going to get out before that happens. because there's no excuse. There's really no excuse to lose to the Bengals in the manner that they did. And
no excuse to lose to them at all.
Yeah. So you lose. Well, really, you lost to the team when you're up 14-0. So that's the first loss that shouldn't have happened. They shouldn't have lost to Washington having a 14-0 lead. Then, all right, that's a bad loss. Then you lose 2. Then you lose 3 in a row. They may bounce back next week, but if you get to the playoffs and then I don't think they win a game. They just have that look like when they're not going to win a game.
Yeah,
and you don't win a game. I mean,
I think the issue
it starts to become like at that point. If they get to the playoffs, they don't win a game. What really is what's the real excuse at that point if you get there?
I have a question for you based upon your hot take. They used to be one of the best run organizations in all of sports. Where do you think it all went wrong?
I don't think it's that they're I think it's fine. I think I think you're still a great organization, but if you're Mike Tomlin, I think you've seen this path once over of okay, Big Ben is aging. I don't know if Big Ben has another. I don't even know if he has another year in him. I thought he may have like 2 or 3 seasons, but yeah, I don't know if he has another year left in the tank. Then you have these juju antics of dancing that you would think somebody would be like, hey, after we lost to Washington, hey, just chill out. But that hasn't stopped. So at the end of the season, it's gonna be like who was the Giants coach when they all got on that boat?
That was Coughlin.
That was Coughlin, right?
Yeah.
So
that was the end. That was the end because they went to the play. That was the last year. Then they went to the playoffs, and then that was it.
Exactly, because it's like, yo, we're in a playoff game, and these guys are out in Miami on a boat, like the day. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, that really wasn't his fault. They could have said, "Hey, we're going to Miami for a charity event," and then hopped on a random yacht taking pictures. And now, who's to blame? The head coach. So the same thing. If this thing falls apart, it's going to be like, "Hey, they're not focused enough. You got Juju dancing around. Like, who's to blame? Who's the fall guy would be the head coach at that point, especially if you don't win a playoff game.
Okay,
it has to be someone to blame.
Okay, so what I was saying was for years. I mean, Hines Ward was kind of a scumbag, but it was like,
was he?
He definitely was chippy and he used to get into it with everybody and like he was a real son of a bitch on the field. No, he had some verbal incidents where
in today's current league he'll be suspended multiple games.
Yeah, so he was, but again it was a different league, and then Troy Polamalu in today's league would have got numerous helmet to helmet hits of hit fines. So, but it was a different league back then. What I should have said was, you see AB leave. Now you're talking about. Le'Veon leaves, then Big Ben's going to be gone, then Juju's having problems, then Tom's leaving. I just feel like at 10, 15 years ago, even 4 to 5 years ago, we never heard about this stuff happening with the Steelers. I just don't know when it changed from, no, we don't ever hear stuff like that. I mean, yeah, you heard Troy and you heard Hines Ward, but it was different to all this happening and happening and happening. I don't know what caused it.
I think like I said, after a certain point, I think it's going to not, like I said, I don't think it's fire. I think they're mutually just going to split ways. Because like I said, after a while, there's only so many like incidents you can have
on your watch.
Exactly. Where it's like, okay, well, maybe it's you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have the Facebook locker room. They just have so many like little incidents that are, it's not, like really it's almost like I said, it's just like not total control. Like he doesn't have just a small lack of order, and it comes up again.
Yeah, well,
it seems like it's one or two. Yeah, it seems like it's like one thing. Like every year, it starts to become one little thing, and eventually, it's all going to fall on Tomlin. And I think he's just going to be like, "Hey, you know what? We got bounced from the playoffs. I've made the playoffs every year. I'm out of here. I'm going somewhere where I have free reign. Because if he takes any other job, he has that. Yeah, he gets 5 years, regardless.
Yeah.
Of it, outside of going 0-16
Yeah.
but outside of being Hugh Jackson, he gets free reign and he gets total control.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's time's up. I think it's time for a mutual departure.
I think if Tom Coughlin leaves that team is in the fucking dumps.
Tom Coughlin, Mike Tomlin,
whatever.
Yeah.
Tom.
But you saw what happened when Tom Coughlin left. So same thing.
But when my man leaves, it's gonna be a dumpster. It's gonna be a shit show. But I think I know what Mo was talking about. It's just like they've been consistent for so long, kind of like with Mike McCarthy, whatever the hell his name is. When he was in Green Bay, it was like he wasn't bad. The team wasn't bad. They just never got over that hump after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, they were consistently good, never great. I just think the system kind of wears on people after a while, so you don't get that change that you need to get over the hump. I think he falls into that same situation. Maybe even the same situation with like Ron Rivera down in Carolina, even though he had Cam who can't throw a football. So
the message can't get stale after a while. Sure.
Yeah. Same, especially when you're in the same group. Like you just
a lot through the Steelers never really changes. You know what I mean? Like
no.
Consistent. He's been there forever. Yeah. I'm sure everybody on the head coach's staff has been there forever. You know what I'm saying? It's just the same year in, year out.
It's the same thing that we saw that we've seen it with like it's the same thing like with Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh was he had a good run with the 49ers, but it was just like the message just got old.
Yeah, and he burned out quick.
He burned those guys out.
But I'm sure if you let's say I think that last year he was there, they were just terrible. But let's say that season's like a 6-10 season, and then you something like that, just enough for him to hang around, and you kind of change the group out a little bit. He probably can rally it back to get it back to a competitive football team. Mm-hmm. I think that's what happened with Tomlin. Like Tomlin never had that. Oh,
a big turnover.
That big 4-12 season. Like it's always been like, oh no, we're still relevant because we could kind of beat up on the Bengals and the Browns and survive and hang on and only have to really compete with the Ravens for most of a decade.
Yeah.
So that's enough to keep you right in there. For 3 games, keep you right in there.
You keep racking up those wins. Winning is a double-edged sword because it solves everything, but it also covers up everything.
Yep.
And then once the win, it's like money. Money solves everything, but it causes so many problems once you don't have it and rely on it. And if that's all you have is the wins, that's all you had is the money to look at. With the deficiency in that, any deficiency just it kind of dumps a bucket of water on everything. So I agree. I agree. I think that after a certain point, I'm a huge Tomlin guy. And I don't think that he is doing himself any favors or doing himself any good by coaching that team anymore.
Yeah.
All right. So moving along, my taking a shot is I'm gonna go up to this. It'll be AFC North. The Cleveland Browns. Odell has played his last game as a Brown.
I know there's no argument.
Yeah,
I don't think he's coming back.
Yeah, I don't.
Because they can win without him, and when he's on the field, he causes too much of a distraction. Not to say that he's like messing the game up, but he's messing the game plan up. I think you know what I mean. I think he's such a talent that he doesn't work in that system. And right now, I mean, well, not right now, but they'll be able to move him for a couple picks, maybe.
Yeah, he might be playing for Kyle Shanahan next year. To be honest with you,
no, I don't want him.
I think Kyle Shanahan wants him.
I think he would speak of it.
Yeah, I think Kyle Shanahan would beg to differ with you, Baheem.
I don't want him. I think our wide receivers are good. They're fine, just right where they're at. We just need somebody to throw them the ball. That's it.
Yeah.
And Odell can't throw. So.
Odell could throw those flea flickers.
Yeah.
He did it in the Dallas Cowboys game.
Yeah, I just don't, like you said, I've said that. I think the day they got him, I was like, when you get him and Jarvis, to be honest, like receivers just don't move the needle like that for you to change you over. Like the gap from is crazy it is, but the gap from like Odell to any other receiver, the gap it's not that big. Same thing with like running back. The gap from running backs it's not that big. So when you have two receivers taking up that much of your salary, it's like, well, we can move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the thing with Odell was, so Odell's been getting hurt, right?
Yeah.
He's been hurt. If he's not been hurt, I think he is the second best wide receiver in the NFL because he can take a 5-yard slant and go to the house.
Yeah.
He also super acrobatic.
Top 3 for sure. That's
another thing. He also needs to be in a situation
where he's a number one and there's nobody else.
There's nobody else around because then you don't get to use him effectively any way else. But if he's not done there, he may not get moved just because he's coming off an injury, but it's just not needed. Like they can clearly see it's not
needed at all.
Exactly. Like if you can get
you going and we're going to the playoffs.
Exactly. If you can get rid of him and get anybody else, like how much better will we be?
At that point.
Yeah. So I agree.
All right, man. So that was our taking a shot segment. I don't have the cool special effects that Shiz has because he gets those from Walmart too. So we're gonna move into our favorite teams and our local teams. We're gonna go on the spreads and things like that. So the first game we got up is Tampa Bay versus the Lions, and it's the Bucks with the 9.5 on the spread. What do you think, Mo?
This is simple. The Lions are not good. They don't have much to play for. But Tampa Bay, once again, we cannot be trusted. So I will not give them 9.5 because we like to sleep during the first half and then come play. So I won't give them 9.5, but I think we should win the game. That's it. That's all I have. It should be simple, but it won't be. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, that's how I kind of feel about it, man. I've been betting the spread lately. I've always bet the spread on the Bucks because on paper, they should be kicking these teams' asses. But like you said, they can't be trusted, man. They were asleep the first half last week. Came out and won the game, which is good for them. They won the game, but come on, man, they got to be better than that coming into the playoffs. You know what I mean? What you think, C?
They definitely. So here's the deal with Tampa Bay. They've been living dangerously. The whole year. 6 games. I got it written down here. 6 games have been won and lost by less than 7 points. So they're always on that. They're always on that razor's edge. They're 8-1 against teams that are 500 or below. So what does that tell you? That tells you that if they're middle or below average, they're going to beat them up. And those other 6 games, they did look really good versus the Packers. Like that was their mark. That's their marquee game. But outside of that, they're on paper they're great, but they just need to pull it all together. I like Antoine Whitfield Jr. as a safety, but outside of that, the back half of that defense is suspect.
Listen, man. If you tune in, I've said it multiple times. That secondary can't cover a twin bed.
No, I know. But do you, as a Bucks fan, do you like Winfield?
He's a good young player.
He's good for a rookie.
Yeah. He's a good young player, but that's simply it's not enough.
No, it's not. It's not enough. I'm just saying that there is at least a bright spot back there. Like he's got a lot of potential.
He's definitely better than Chris Conte, who's been back there. I'll take that. We definitely. I would like to get just any veteran presence there. I just seem like they're just not lined up to me at times. Like we're just not in the right spot. Like we're whoever's calling audibles in the secondary, you just like it's incorrect. It's incorrect. So anyone that's played football, preferably more than 7 to 8 years in the secondary, will probably help. Be of great help.
I agree. They do have great pass rushers, but it's inconsistent. They take a lot of chances they blitz a lot, which leaves that shaky secondary vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's all that being said. This is pretty much one of the easier bets of the weekend. You take Tampa with the points. All that being said, though, like I fully expect
man.
them to handle business, because if they can't beat the Lions and cover,
I think they'll beat the Lions, but I don't think they'll cover.
Listen, man.
I feel like they will. I feel like they will.
Watching every Bucks game, I'm telling you, it's like NBA Live when they got to keep the scores close mode on. Like, it's like that. It's exactly what it's like. Like, you just can't. You can't get away.
Yeah, man.
You just can't get away. I'm telling you.
That Lions team, they don't seem to win a lot of games, but they're sneaky good. Like, they got some good wide receivers.
Oh, they got a great wide receiver core.
He's good. He's a good quarterback. That defense is their issue. But other than that, I mean,
it's not even the defense. It's the second. It's the back end of the defense. They got great pass rushers. They just got to be more consistent.
For a while, it was Matt Patricia's time management was the He just was out there with no like frame of time, just like just we're up, and it's how many times? Oh, no huddle. Like what?
He was out there with that DMV pencil behind his ear, thinking he was going to take the world.
He was spending more time at that concession stand than he was in the film room.
Yeah, ketchup on a hot dog.
Yeah,
a pencil and a laminated play sheet. This is perfect.
And it's laminated, so when he gets that chili dog sauce all over it, it'll stain it up.
Oh yeah.
All right, so Bucks will win the cover.
All right, so moving on, we got Niners and the Cardinals. The Cardinals for the 5. This is my team. I'll start it off. I think the Cardinals will cover. I think they will definitely beat the 49ers by more than 5. I think they just have it that close because these two teams play each other so much. But what I've seen from Mullins is I've seen him regress. Like, he has just been on a downward spiral. And he actually got hurt.
Yeah, Mullins is out, right?
At the end of I don't know if he's out, but I know he got hurt.
I think he's out, and Rosen is in, or they got CJ, or they got CJ Beathard.
I think it was Beathard. Yeah.
All right, so it's Beathard because I saw Mullins. I think Mullins is he got sayonara.
And then Mullins is going to be his backup. I mean, not Mullins, Rosen. I like Rosen actually. Yeah. He's not panned out anywhere he went. But I'm going to bet that game, and I'm going to bet against the 49ers because I'm not stupid.
Okay.
I think I've been talking about it in the 49ers since they have not been allowed to have a home game. I think that mentally broke them because they're living on the road and they're doing it. But you're also talking about forcing grown men to live on the road during the holidays and not see their families. So I think that mentally broke people of trying to relocate their family. Like, I think a lot of things they had to do were outside of football. Because if you're not going to see your family, like, all right, well, I'm gonna get y'all an Airbnb in Arizona somewhere. Like, we're gonna spend the holidays together somehow. They're not just gonna let their families be in California the whole time and them be in Arizona through Christmas and New Year's with no sign of when exactly they'll be back. So I think that caused a real challenge mentally on that team. And I think really since that announcement, that's when they kind of fell apart, is once that was announced officially. So I think that just continues. Like, they're just not being home, just the stress of that, you know, their wives can't find PS5s. They're trying to call them. It's just you know what I mean? Like the stress of dealing with that. Like, like what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
So
I get it. All right, so moving right along, we're gonna go Dallas and Eagles. Eagles at 2.
No comment, man. I mean, what am I gonna? You already know. I mean, my feelings about the Dallas Cowboy organization in 2020 has been well documented. And I wish there was another person on this podcast right now, so I could, like one of my old Irish uncles in Boston, you say, take him to the woodshed. I honestly, I don't. Let me put it to you very bluntly. I don't want them to win. Okay. You keep winning these meaningless games. The NFC East title is like having Monopoly money at this point. It's meaningless. Just means that we'll be picking 19th instead of 9th or 18th instead of 8th. And there are some really good players that I have my eye on. I mean, the player I wanted, we're not going to get, and it's not a quarterback because we won too many games. But the there's some Cowboy fans out there that they value winning an NFC East championship in 2020 more than getting a franchise left tackle for the next 12 years. I don't know. But I'm an idiot. I'm a crazy Cowboys fan. I should want to go 7-9 and win the NFC East. I'm an idiot, but what do I know? That being said, I want the Eagles to win. Go Hurts, go. Hurt 'em Hurts. All right.
Go Hurts.
Because I'm a smart Cowboys fan. I'm not one of those. I don't drink the Kool-Aid when it comes to the Cowboys.
Shiz might not publish this because you're talking so much trash.
Is it trash or is it truth?
You haven't been on. So what is your take on possibly trading Zeke? How do you feel?
Tahim will tell you, and if Shiz was here, he would deny it, but then I'd pull up text messages. I've been talking about trading Zeke for a year. 100%. But the problem with it is he's not worth nearly as much now as what he was 6 months ago.
No, I think he is. I think
you're not gonna get the haul that you would have gotten. There might be a dumb team that's desperate that'll give you somewhat of what you could have written a blank check. You could have asked for a blank check for Zeke in July. You're not getting a blank check. You'll still get picks. I'm not saying he's not worth anything. He's talented, but you would have gotten you name your price for Ezekiel Elliott in the summer.
No, I think they have you have a good alibi of what happened. So you could say that he's not motivated. Like you can that's a fair argument for. So he has a big enough resume of consistency anyway. He has a big enough resume of consistency to sell that he's a top 5 back, hands down.
Yeah, I never said he wasn't talented.
No.
That's for other people. I've never said he wasn't talented, America.
Yeah, no,
he's talented.
But I think the injury to Dak, you can say, hey, he lost his friend on the field, and that's what caused him not to perform. So I think you have a good story to tell of why he's still worth what he is, and a team would pull the trigger because they know the Cowboys are going to get Dak back, and this might be the best time to try to get him.
Snell, you're a good businessman. I tip my hat to you, sir. That's spoken like a true gentleman. You're a true businessman. You're talking up Zeke I'd say he's talented.
So this is now it's not for everybody. It's not. For everybody. But if you're a team, I've been saying if you're a team like the Miami Dolphins or the Chargers who have rookie quarterbacks, you have the money and you have the rookie quarterbacks to absorb that Zeke contract for a good little bit.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. For the 2 or 3 years that are left, it's definitely worth it. And if you're the Dolphins at this point, what are those picks really going to do you at this point?
No, I agree, and like I said, I the qualifier to my statement is there are teams that are willing to take him, and there is a saying: a fool and his money are soon parted. A fool and their picks are soon parted as well. Yeah. We saw that last year with the Seahawks and Jamal Adams. I would say there's 2 or 3 teams that you could get. What I'm saying is last year, like before this season, if you said breaking Sports Center news, Zeke Elliott there's teams that don't need running backs that would have been like, what do you want a 2 first round? Do you want a first rounder or a second rounder and this guy and this guy? It would have literally been the bonanza of all bonanzas. Now you're not going to get that. It's just not. You will see. We're talking about the Dolphins. We're talking about the Chargers. Yeah. There would have been 20 teams out of the like that would have been came calling for him. We named 2 or 3 teams that fall under certain circumstances. Yeah, I would trade Zeke, but that's another story for another day. I do agree that the place he would have to go is a place with a rookie quarterback. And if you put Zeke on the Chargers with Justin Herbert, sounds like money to me.
It's definitely a draw. You got so if you're a team like the Chargers who are they really have to establish a new fan base. Yeah, at this point
they're trying to get tickets, but they got their guy though in a quarterback, and no one's going to sell more tickets than a quarterback.
Oh yeah, so you got your guy at quarterback. So if you can say, hey, we got and the Chargers owner is known for he's notorious for not exactly
Mr. Spanos.
Yeah, he's known for his incompetence. So if you can say like, hey, we have Herbert, we finally hit on a draft pick, right? We got Herbert, and now we also traded for Zeke. I mean, you'll get your fan base
absolutely
rather quickly. So
you hear that?
And he's
Mr. Spanos, get on that phone.
Oh yeah, he will pull the trigger, no problem.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Sign him up. Pull the trigger, no problem.
Sign him up, man. But I would be careful with it. Well, again, a team with a rookie quarterback, they have less to lose because they're still evaluating, and unless they take a huge leap, they're not going to contend. So yeah, they'd be willing. Do you think a team that's trying to build around Herbert would be willing to give up what Jerry? This is the other thing. Jerry Jones lives in a fantasy world. He still thinks Zeke is a blank check guy, and he's not quite that. He's still talented. So I'm worried that Jerry Jones being delusional will still ask for too much to turn people off, to be like, I wouldn't take that. I'm only taking top value. And it's like, well, Jerry, we don't live in that world now. You know what I mean?
I think the Chargers have the pieces to I think the Chargers really have the pieces because they have multiple pass rushers, so they can depart with one. They can depart with a Melvin Ingram and still be okay.
Absolutely.
So they have people at key positions that the Cowboys need to depart with and stay afloat and be fine and won't be any worse than this year. Like, so they have enough to do it. And I just think the Dolphins, they just have just enough picks flat out and money to pull.
Yeah, they've stockpiled. I'd like to. I feel like Arizona might be a dark horse if he does ever hit the market, because they got him on. They got Kyler on that rookie deal.
Yeah,
they got talent, and I feel like they want to make they want to make that next step, and they've been struggling to make that next step. I feel like the Cardinals are missing something.
Yeah,
that could be the last ingredient to kind of like, they're missing something somewhere because they have talent. All these skill positions, all these pieces, they got a good young coach who's learning and he's getting better. But just something's missing. Something's missing. So we'll see. But yeah, let's go. Let's lose these games. Let's get a good draft pick, and let's get a good lineman or get one of these good edge rushers in the draft. Maybe the dude from Miami. I'd love to get the tight end from Florida, but that's not going to happen. So.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's let's lose. Cowboys lose.
Yeah.
All right. Hey. Moving along. Next, we got the Giants versus the Ravens, and we got the Ravens at 11 points. I think that's easy. I think the Ravens get it.
No, you're the professional bettor here. I mean, what do you think?
Man, there's the Giants with I picked them to win NFC East, but it's not gonna happen. It's just not. The Ravens are on a warpath to get back in this playoffs.
Yeah,
they've seen the light. They've seen the glimmer of light open up that they can get back into these playoffs, and it is over. They're gonna get in the playoffs. So, they may run it up on the Giants, unfortunately. So it can get ugly because I took the Jags last week, I think they were getting like 17, and that wasn't enough. So I don't know. I don't know if 11 is enough either with the Giants with Colt McCoy at quarterback.
All right. So next we got the Jets and the Browns. Browns at 9.5.
Whew. I mean,
I feel like this is the fuckery bowl of 2020. These are the two most Murphy's Law teams in the whole league. Like anything will happen. Like I wouldn't be shocked if the Jets won again. I wouldn't be shocked if the Browns beat them 80-0. I really wouldn't be shocked either way.
Listen, I can tell you right now, there is 0.000% chance that the Jets go out and try to win this football game.
Oh, wait, yeah, you're right. No, you're right. No, you're right. You're right. No, you're right. You're right. No, you're right. You're right.
We got our one win, not to be the laughing stock of a generation. Now let's get to the coin flip.
I think they're record-wise they're tied with the Jags, but I think the Jags are the tiebreaker.
Yeah, so they're picking. If it ended today, they'd be picking 2.
Yeah,
sucks.
They got to hold out.
But listen, no way.
I agree. I didn't even think of that. You're right.
But it's going to be funny because the Jags are going to be the same way. They're both going to be. I bet the Jags, and I was like, they're gonna compete, and then they didn't compete, and I was like, that was stupid. Yeah, they don't want to win any more games.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
All right. So moving right along, that was our local teams and the betting and the spreads. So now we're going to move along to just theories that are going on in the NFL. So what do you think about Juju and his dancing on the logos and him being so trash?
And I believe Shannon was it Shannon that said it. Big Shay. You can't TikTok and lose. That's it.
Yeah.
Like that just back to what we were saying about how Tomlin is losing the locker room.
It's a mark of a bad culture in your team if you do that.
Culture, like because he like you said, he did it like 2 or 3 times, and every time he did it, they lost.
Yeah, I think he's been doing it longer.
Yes,
he's been doing it. He's been doing
it. There's video evidence of that's not the first torque that he done thrown.
Goes over a lot well. It's a lot better when you're winning.
Yeah,
doesn't stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, winning solves everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
were either of you gentlemen a big fan of Juju? Because I never was.
No,
I never was.
I think
AB's leaving. Juju will slide right into that. I never thought that for 1 second.
Yeah, I think he's a phenomenal number 2 receiver. As the second guy, this is amazing.
You'd be hard pressed to find a better number 2.
Exactly. So I think he's a phenomenal number 2 receiver. That's how I see it.
Yeah, because as soon as AB left, that should have just exposed him.
Exposed him hard. Chase Claypool is way better than Juju in my opinion. He's only been in the country 35 minutes.
I think Clay Chase Pool, or whatever the hell his name is. I think he has a higher ceiling than Juju does.
Yeah, it's just certain things that
talent. Right now he's raw talent. Like if he gets a summer with a good training camp in him, or he goes out to see like a Jerry Rice, get some tips. I think he's going to be.
I like you said, as far as the number 1 receiver, I think Juju's been very exposed that his route tree is not very big. That is not like he's not a big. Like you'll never see Juju really running like a comeback route. Like that just doesn't happen. It's going to be a slant, a post, a drag. Like he's tough. He'll catch a drag, make somebody miss.
Sure.
But as far as like hey, Juju made a tiptoe sideline catch, those are very few and far in between. Like you don't get many of those. So I think he's, like I said, he's just a good number 2 receiver. If you listen, we don't want our number 1 running across the middle. We have confidence in Juju doing it. So he's a good number 2.
All right. Moving along. Well, we're gonna stay on the Steelers. So what do you think? Well, I mean, we talked about it so much, but the question really was like, why do you think the Steelers are on this downward spiral? And we brought up a couple of things about, it could be the culture. It could be Tomlin's message is just not getting across like it used to. He's just not motivating these guys. These guys, not the whole team is getting old, but at a lot of those key positions, they're getting old. Like that defensive line, I think Hayward is he's been there for a while. Mm-hmm. Then you got Big Ben. He seems like he's hurt every week coming back. They're super gluing his legs and limbs back on, and he's going out there to play football. But I think their issue right now is they don't have a running game. I think because Connor is out with the what is it? He's either a quad or a hamstring.
Yeah.
Either one is not good for a running back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You never want either one of those.
Yeah, and I think that's mainly their issue because they can't run the ball. If you can't run the ball, I mean, you don't have to drop that safety down in the box, and you can kind of double up, keep a floating safety back there, and it really limits that offense. Because, like you said, Juju he's playing the number 1 position, but he's really a good number 2. So,
I have a theory about Big Ben. We did kind of brush, the subject at the beginning. He's not a big workout guy. Matter of fact, not big. He's not a workout guy at all. So when you try to rehab back from an injury and you're not, familiar, or you don't even really want to work out, it doesn't set yourself up well to be on the mend. So like he was good early, but I don't think he conditioned himself to come back from that injury. So that's why we're seeing this drop off, because now his juices all run out, and it's like, no, this is 16 games. It's not 10 games. They went 10-0, and then they've gone 1-3, 1-4, and
Yeah.
if you look at his numbers, like they have just plummeted in every statistical category. My theory on Big Ben is this offense is set up for him being the younger Big Ben, because you got all these deep threats, all these like home run hitting receivers. He's not good on the deep ball anymore, and that used to be his bread and butter when he was younger. Like that was like him and Joe Flacco and all them. They just bomb it over the top on you. Maybe you get a holding, maybe you get pass interference, maybe AB catches an 80-yard bomb. Like it's that was his style of play, and they need more possession guys, more like Snell was saying, better route runners, more precise pass catchers. They used to run the 2 tight end set, and they got rid of one of their tight ends, and the other one just kind of like he's not nearly as good as he once was. I think they got away from that. That would have helped Big Ben with his. They got Eric Ebron, and he's not what he once was when he was on the Colts.
I don't think
like
I don't think he was that great.
I mean, maybe in the right system, but like when they ran those sets with James, what was it? Jesse James and the other guy, that was very potent for him, and they got rid of Le'Veon, and they didn't address the situation. And if you're declining, you're a quarterback that's declining, you need a running game, you need possession receivers, and they have not supplied, and you need really good tight ends, and those 3 things I just named, they haven't supplied him with any of that. So Big Ben's 37 or 38. They're acting like he's 27 or 28, and that's where I believe that the problem with Big Ben is, in my opinion.
Okay. I think the real thing is that these, for the beginning of the season, that defense bailed them out of a lot of bad football. So
yeah, they were in a few close games. You're right.
Yeah, that defense bailed them out of a lot of bad football. And once Bud Dupree went down,
yes,
and
then Bush went down too.
Yeah,
right? Devin Bush went down.
Yeah, Devin. So yep. I think it's like 2 things. It's first off, teams are already starting to catch on to what you're doing as the season goes along, and you're undefeated for that long because now people are gunning for you. So they're already starting to catch on. And as they're catching on, what they're like, all right, the offense really isn't much. It's this defense we got to figure out. And pieces keep going down. Yep. So it's like, okay, well, now we don't have to worry about Bud Dupree, or you don't have to worry about Bush. And then Minka Fitzpatrick gets hurt. So the defense was bailing them out of a lot, like I said, of a lot of bad football. And now you don't have those guys to get you out of those situations that are making out of this world plays that, it was one of those things where like Bud Dupree was playing like out of his mind.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this guy's going above and beyond to make some of these plays. Like there's no way to replicate this. And that was saving them and winning them games. And now that you don't have that guy, you can't even get somebody to do anything close to what he was doing to save you, to keep you winning those tight games. Now you're getting beat, and that's what happens. And to C's point, Big Ben isn't a big workout guy, and he probably, I wouldn't even say, I've never really known Big Ben to be like even like a vocal leader. I would say like a vocal guy. Like if the leaders of your offense are Big Ben, who's not a big workout guy, and Juju doing TikTok, this is not. What do you think? Exactly. Like you. Yep. It's not a good system to follow for offensively of what's going on.
No, I Snell, when you just said that they bailed them out, I literally wrote here they lost to the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys, they beat the Cowboys by less than 10 points.
Yeah.
Like it was 8 points. So and it was, if you remember, that fourth quarter was a nail biter, and that was when the Cowboys were one of the worst teams in the league. And for that to happen,
who they have at quarterback? They had the
no, that wasn't Danucci. That was Dalton.
No, I thought that was that other kid. Nah, that was
That was
the other-
Danucci, or it was he got knocked out the week before. It was the other dude
Yeah,
that he was only in there for one.
It was
for one
Garrett
game.
Gilbert. Garrett Gilbert.
For one. Yeah, he was in for one game. The dude from Texas or something. Yeah,
I think Texas Tech. Yeah,
but yeah, they had. Well, the thing that's over this whole thing is they pretty much the easiest schedule I can think of in the NFL when you look at who they beat early on, and when you're barely beating a guy, a fifth string quarterback, with that defense and those weapons, those are wins that I wouldn't feel good about behind the scenes. I'd be like, man, like we almost lost to a team that at that point the Cowboys were in line to have a top 3 pick at that point. Like you don't want to lose to a team like that. Yeah, I'm glad that they lost, but it's at the end of the day not something that I would feel good about. When you're walking that line, eventually you're gonna fall off on the other side, man. Like and losing, I wrote that down too. Bud Dupree, he was in line for a contract too, right?
Yeah, I think so. I believe so.
Man, see, you hate to see that.
Yeah,
you hate to see
that.
The
Steelers, like I said, they've been living on the edge for a little bit, for a long while. Like if you look at some of the wins that they have, even early, like I believe their first game was the Giants.
Yeah,
I think they may have beat them by like 10, but it was close that whole game. They only beat the Texans by like a touchdown. Even that Ravens game, the latest Ravens game that they played the Ravens, it was like a super rainstorm. So Lamar Jackson couldn't run. They barely So they've gotten bailed out a little. They were getting bailed out a little bit, and I think that luck has run out.
Yeah, man.
All right, so we're gonna use that and wrap that up. Wrap the NFL up. Like I said, I don't have those Walmart special effects. So we're going to move right on to the NBA, which had their opening night last night. And Charles, as you can see, he has on his Lakers hat because he is a diehard Lakers fan. They received their styrofoam rings last night.
Right.
So what do you guys did you guys watch the 2 games last night?
I watched the Laker game.
I know. Yeah, I didn't. I watched I watched bits and pieces. That game was late.
Yeah, I watched the Nets and Golden State. And Golden State is who we thought they are, a trash team, because you only got Curry running around out there shooting threes.
Curry hasn't played in like mad long.
A year, yeah, he didn't play last year. I think he played a couple games and he broke his hand, and they were like, "Oh,
I feel like he'll get better." No,
yeah, I just think that team is not dynamic enough. I mean, granted, they didn't have Draymond, and then I think the Nets came out playing last night like they had something to prove.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. There was way too much chatter behind that team leading up. If they had gone out there and laid an egg, that would have been real bad.
Or even if they kept it close, because you got to think, they would have lost or almost got beaten to a team without Klay Thomas, and they just got Steph Curry, and everybody else is just kind of add-on pieces.
That's a good point.
So, yeah, they came out to play, and they played good. I mean, I was more impressed by their bench, though. I was more impressed by their role players, and they came to play too. I thought one of the issues with this team is it was going to be Durant and Kyrie dominated, so I thought it was going to be not as good. But if they play every game like they played last night in the team cohesion, they're going to be they could probably win the East. Put it like that.
Yeah, I would think at this current moment they're probably the favorites to win the East.
Yeah,
yes, they are their worst enemies.
Yeah, their role players came to play last night, and I don't think from what nobody in the East has a 1-2 punch like the Nets, and I think their bench and role players can go along with everybody in the East. So
and their team was essentially they have the same team they had last year that really almost made the playoffs. Exactly. So they're competent. Like those guys are competent, and that they can play basketball. And now you just add 2 superstars to it. So they should be good.
KD out there. I just hope KD doesn't get hurt because he still doesn't have any calf muscles. He's running out there with straight shin bones.
Yeah, I don't know. He just you need to shoot him a leg workout, Ty. My man just neglects leg day. That doesn't exist to him.
Yeah, really neglecting that leg day.
It's like I'm gonna just shoot jump shots. That's
I'm just shooting jump stops and walking up the stairs.
Oh God.
That's it. All right. So moving along from the 2 games that we so let No, before we move on, because we didn't talk about the Lakers.
Lakers, yeah.
Yeah. So you said you did watch some of those games, right? Well, some of that.
Yeah. I watched. I mean, the problem with me being on the East Coast watching Laker games is 9 times out of 10 they start at 10:30.
Yeah.
So by the end, like, unless it's the playoffs or the finals, like if it's playoffs or the finals, I don't care if it starts at midnight. I'm watching the whole thing. But during the week, you know what I mean? Like I'm an old man now. I can't hack it like I used to. I can't stay up watching the Lakers, but I just catch it.
I watched the first half and that was it.
Yeah.
I saw
they lost.
I saw text messages like 1 a.m. Woke up the text message like Paul George is going. I was like, what? Like, I'm not,
oh, okay.
Yeah, like Paul George got hot. I'm like, yeah, that's 1 o'clock. Thank God I went to sleep.
Who said that text message?
I think it was Coast. I think Coast.
Okay. Spoken like a true Knick fan.
Yeah.
They lost. So what? Like I literally when I tell you I literally woke up and was like, oh, they lost. I was like, all right, let me get on with my day. Like I was like, I could literally care less. They will be fine. In the words of Aaron Rodgers, relax, Laker Nation. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't.
Coast, relax. PG got hot. He'll cool off. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Wait
for playoff P.
Yeah. Don't worry about it, Coast. And then he'll sign a mega max deal with you in like 3 or 4 years when he's got 7 herniated discs in his back. Sign for a super duper max.
Yeah,
super max. That's Knicks basketball.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, I mean, I don't think the Lakers have anything to worry about.
No,
it got better in the offseason. I just think again the Clippers came out with just more of a chip on their shoulder, with something they had to prove. I think the Lakers are easing into this. I wouldn't be surprised if you see the Lakers lose 10 straight and then come still win the championship. You know what I mean? I just think they're that team is just veteran minded. They're battle tested. If there's any team that can turn it on when they need to, it'd probably be the Lakers because they have LeBron.
How much did LeBron even play? Like, did he play over a half? Like,
no.
I don't know.
And then he was on the bench, and everyone was making a big deal out of it that he had like the ice packs on his knee and like the ice pack on his neck and everything. They were showing pictures of Kobe when he like ruptured his Achilles and he had his feet were in the ice bath on the sideline. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's normal, man. He's got a lot of mileage. Like I'm not I'm not worried.
If I was him, I wouldn't even have showed up to the game.
You want to put a good, you know.
If he overnight, they'd probably find him. The NBA would probably find him.
Listen, I'm not like. Listen, you just won. You're rushing me back. I'm not sitting out here.
I agree. I agree, man.
Go home, wrap some presents, man. Catch y'all in the new year.
There is one thing that I'd like to see from the Lakers. I mean, they did get new pieces, so I do want to see them gel. So I don't know when it's going to happen, but I'd like to see LeBron play a little bit with the second unit because as we get into the playoffs, I don't even want to count my chickens for the hatch. But if we make the postseason and the finals, you're going to be playing with a lot of different lineups late in the game. You know what I mean? In one of these games, LeBron might be putting his suit on in the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? He's getting ready to go home. Yeah. But if it's in the playoffs, he's going to be checking in. He might be playing with somebody that he barely played with, and I'd like early in the season to get him not in a practice situation, in game situations with these second unit guys that he normally outside of a practice would not get a lot of time to play with. So outside of that, that's the one thing I'm like, okay, just as long as you guys play with each other in full speed, then I'll be all right. But as far as them like slipping and like there's gonna be an off year or a hangover, like no, I doubt that.
All right, so moving right along, we're gonna jump to this James Harden, who seems to be dominating basketball news. This week
he trying to go to the Knicks, Tom. Trying to go to the Knicks.
I don't go. I don't care. I hope that's where he goes.
No, I hope me too.
So yeah, this week during practice, he threw a basketball at a rookie.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to get traded.
Yes,
he's gonna throw a basketball at the owner in a couple of days. Like first it's a rookie, then it's the coach, then it's the owner.
And then they were talking about the Rockets were working with the NBA to show his strip club video footage because possibly he wasn't going to play tonight, but then they end up postponing the game altogether.
Yeah, he probably shouldn't. He probably wasn't even supposed to be in the building.
Probably.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yo, when Shannon Sharp, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Shannon Sharp, they were talking about where he could go, and they were like, "Oh, Boston, Boston, Boston," and then Shannon Sharp was like, "Absolutely not, absolutely not." And then Skip Bayless was like, "Why are you so against Boston?" He's like, "Because the entertainment industry in Boston leaves something to be desired." I was like, "Wow!" I was like, "Yeah, Shay, Uncle Shay." He needs to go to Atlanta. He'll be right at home there. He'll be the mayor. And I was like, yeah,
I need to be the mayor.
the entertainment industry, man. For him, it's all about that entertainment industry.
I've never heard of there being like this super sought after lifestyle, not lifestyle, but nightlife in Boston. Like I've never,
no,
never. But yeah, if he went to Atlanta, he'll be the mayor. But no, I'm not gonna say that on air. But yeah, he'd be the mayor of the town.
He'd be doing well, you know what I mean? But I don't know. Again, you do something like that. There's an old saying: when someone shows you who you are, believe them. Like believe that. And by him doing that, that's who he really is. He's not a high character guy. So talented as he is, talent doesn't amount to a hill of beans to me. He's a ball dominant guy who's never been able to get his team over the hump. And we've made a million excuses for James Harden over the years. And now that there's no more excuses, that they've done everything he wanted to do, and now he's throwing basketballs at people. He's a waste of a great talent to me. I don't think
like with James Harden, I think the only people that really like James Harden was Rockets fans. Outside of that,
and the strippers,
and the
strippers.
But outside of that, I don't think anybody liked him because they knew his game was going to take him nowhere.
Wait, who did you say the only guy that liked him?
No, the only people that liked him were Rockets fans.
Yeah. I mean,
I think it's a combination of things. When it comes to him, I think you have, like you said, you have somebody who wants the ball in their hands a lot, and then you get a coach that wants to give him the ball, chuck up threes, not really stress defense. Like it's like the perfect storm of what you don't want to do. Of like, hey, I'm not going to make you work on the areas of your game that are weak. I'm going to just keep feeding the one thing you can do well. Like, hey, you're a great one-on-one guy. I'm not going to implement an offense that helps you facilitate the ball. And that's what happened. And then you tried this with every combination under the sun, and it never works out. And it's like, oh, big shocker. We couldn't get through the playoffs, even though we keep adding these NBA superstars to the roster. So I don't think D'Antoni helped any as far as progressing what James Harden is. I think what we're seeing now is not really him. I just think we're seeing a guy that was told by his agent, do anything you want to get out of here. And that's what he's doing. Yeah. So
but does that mean, okay, so if somebody told me, do whatever you need to do, get out of here, I'm not throwing a basketball at a rookie. Well, you see what I'm saying? Like, so I'm not doing that. I'm already making $50 million a year. Like, what? Why do I have to do that?
That much.
So this is
like come on.
This is what happens, and this is like the part that gets skipped over. Before it was public that James Harden wanted to get traded, I'm confident he said, "Hey, I want to be traded. Like, let's try to figure this out. Get me traded before it becomes public."
Probably
a good chance. And that, and if that owner told you, listen, boy, you're gonna be here forever.
I mean, if they said, "Listen, boy, we're gonna be here forever,"
then I don't think that conversation went over too well. Like I don't think that conversation between I want to be traded and James Harden requesting to be traded and the owner went over well. And I think this is the reaction to that conversation. But I don't just think it's. I don't think
there's ways of doing. There's still ways of doing things, though.
Yeah,
so we're adults. We're You're a wealthy adult who's in the public eye. You're gonna do something. We used to do that in high school and middle school. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
do a press conference since you're so powerful.
Well, this is the thing,
do a press conference.
So look at the
But Snell. What Snell?
Look at the.
I don't want to cut. Okay, go ahead.
Look at the Harden OKC deal. Look how that happened.
Okay.
James Harden. This is the money we want to give you. This is the contract that we want to give you.
But it was peanuts. It was like a couple $1 million. For him to leave, it was like $4 or $5 million difference in the contract.
Exactly. So this is the money that we want to give you.
Yeah.
All right. Listen. I think I'm worth more. All right,
Yeah.
we're going to trade you. He got traded instantly. So you're talking about somebody who's coming from a system where, hey, I don't want this money because I think it's too low. I would rather be traded.
But James Harden wasn't James Harden back then. You're dealing with a different person. Money and power can bring out. It's like war. It can bring out the best in a person and the worst in a person.
But this is the thing.
And he's got both, and he became kind of a trashy person.
But once somebody sees, so he's already saw Pandora's box of how fast he can be traded.
But that was years. But that was years ago, though.
Still, he still saw it. Still saw it. Still saw him. He still saw himself request like, "Hey, I don't want this money. You're traded instantly."
I don't know if it's that simple now that he's got the stature and the cap hit that his contract, the cap hit that his contract brings with it, the cachet that his name brings, the marquee that his name brings, and the talent that he brings to another team. None of that was there 6 years ago. 5 years ago.
Look at the NBA as a whole. It's a different monster as a whole. Anthony Davis got traded. You see, like people with big.
Anthony Davis didn't throw a basketball at somebody's head.
He didn't play for a year.
Yeah, well, hold on. He was hurt. He was hurt a lot of that year, though. He was hurt.
He was hurt, but
he was hurt.
I'm just saying,
not the whole year, but he was hurt. He had an injury.
Yeah, he had an injury, but
he came back and look at Kawhi. Kawhi wasn't hurt and he sat out the whole. That's a better example to me. Like Kawhi wasn't hurt. He was never hurt. He had a bruised quad.
Yeah,
he just didn't feel like feel like playing anymore. He quit.
He had a bruised ego. That's what happened. Okay. That's what happened.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like if you're in a position with the spotlights on you, there are ways of doing things. There's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah.
And you expose, like if I'm a team owner and I see that you did that, I'm gonna be like, and I really could get you. That might be the difference with me and you. And I don't need you. I don't need you if I'm like a Boston or a Miami, and I don't necessarily need you. I'd be like, dude, I'm not taking this asshole. Like he's throwing basketballs at rookies. What if he throws a basketball at a rookie here? We're gonna have to get rid of him. He's gonna be bouncing around.
Yeah,
with this guy.
I think they'll get. Like I said, I think you get bailed. He's had a long enough career. They'll get bailed out. He'll get bailed out on his history of being on USA Basketball, being on several. Like he's a liked guy in the NBA by NBA players for sure.
No, by NBA stars. So my thing is
NBA stars, not just regular players.
Yeah, NBA stars.
And I think Charles's whole thing is the disrespect. Like you can't throw a basketball at another man and still be looked at as a leader.
Dude. And a rookie. Because you throw that basketball at LeBron James's head, I'll be like, all right. Yeah,
we're just gonna skip over The Last Dance. Then we're gonna just skip over. We're gonna skip over that whole documentary.
But you can't fuck with Jordan though.
Yeah, you can't fuck with Jordan. He done sold so many sneakers that it don't even matter. Smoked so many cigars, it don't even matter anymore.
You can't fuck with Jordan. But
all right. So go ahead, Tom. My bad.
Yeah, you good. So, but my thing is, so if he threw that ball at that rookie and that rookie beat the shit out of him,
then where are you going to be at, James?
That'd
bro, that'd have been the ultimate backfire move.
Because you put that grown man in a bad position because you throw a basketball at him in front of a bunch of other grown men. So
so you're emasculating him in front of other people. Yeah.
So my thing is, if it's me,
that's not cool.
If it's me, Hard, I'm sorry, I gotta kill you. I have to kill you. The cops will have to come get me and tase me, or bring a bear in here to pull me off of you because I'm going to kill you. Because
they're gonna be on 60 minutes.
Exactly. Because you just disrespected me in front of all these people. And my thing is, what it really would have pissed me off is, for what? So you can leave an organization you chose to do.
That's my whole point.
This is the thing, especially with the basketball throwing thing. That one I'm a little iffy on. Because
if you're a team owner, you would condone that?
No, I need to see it. I didn't see him throw.
There wasn't cameras there. Like he's not shooting a documentary about his life right now. Cameras weren't there.
What practice isn't filmed?
That's fair. Touche. Touche. That's fair.
Yeah. That's fair. So if James Harden went to the basket, got fouled hard by a rookie, and they're standing 2 feet apart, and he threw the basketball at his leg, technically under the sentence, James Harden threw a basketball at a rookie.
Yeah.
So I can't just jump out the window and James Harden threw a basketball at a rookie. Did he hit him? He could have missed. Like it doesn't say anything about anything. He just says he threw.
I am assuming that it was egregious enough that they publicized.
Yeah, and that's what I'm assuming. Which
No,
if he just did it a bang bang play under the basket, no, because we've all done that because we're frustrated in the moment. Like, but if you threw it at his back as you're walking away, or like you guys get into it, you throw the basketball at him.
But that's what I'm saying. There's no detail. There's no detailed write up of this basketball throwing incident.
We got Snow Cochran on the case right now.
No, I just think it's
no, I agree.
To the fire. It's already like, listen, this guy is disrupted. Like any little thing he's doing is put under a microscope at this point. And so I think it's just something else to add to it to keep the James Harden storyline going a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe the ownership of the Rockets said, "Hey, put this out."
I think the Rockets helping the NBA with the strip club incident is more of a story than the throwing of a basketball. I think that's
the Rockets helped the NBA out.
Yes, because of COVID protocols. Yes, because it shows that it's almost like it's like a national security thing now. Like he's putting other people's lives at risk to go see some wings and things. You know what I mean? Like maybe he wanted some food because a lot of strip clubs do have good food. I heard from a reputable source. I wouldn't know anything about it.
But then I'm not ill. Like I'm not going to get wings at a strip club. Like
there's some Tom. There's some. They're not. The strippers aren't cooking the food.
Yeah,
they're not manning the fryer.
And in certain towns, there's only a couple restaurants open late, and some of them happen to be in certain establishments.
There's certain places that the food is very good in strip clubs.
Either Waffle House or strip club wings.
I'm gonna take strip club wings.
Yeah.
I don't want that Waffle House, and I'm not trying to see a felony being committed. At least they got bouncers and officials inside a strip club to maintain order. You don't like. I don't want to be a chance to be on World Star Hip Hop if I go to Waffle House at 2:30 in the morning. I want to go to strip club and get my food like a good upstanding citizen and exit.
There you go.
I get it. All right.
Stimulate the economy as well.
Stimulate the economy.
Keep the money in the neighborhood.
That's right.
All right. So moving on, we're gonna do a little GM time in the basketball world. So. If you had two moves,
I thought it was three.
No, this is basketball.
Okay. Oh, my bad.
You good? If you had two moves to make and you're starting a franchise, who would your 1 and 2 pick be?
I mean, I get like 1 and 2, or like I get like I'm the picking first in the first and second round.
I think he meant like just in a vacuum, like who, like pick. It's almost like it's like playground, like like we're just like build it. It's like NBA Live 20, like you can just build a franchise.
I'm gonna take instantly. You take LeBron. I feel like that's instant.
All right, but I'm saying you're building a franchise. LeBron.
So wait, Tahim, is it based on 1 year or for a couple of years?
Yeah, I mean a couple of years. You're building it.
Okay, so this just isn't a win now. Let's do this one season.
Right, let me. I'll take LeBron and KD, and I'll let the chips fall where they may from there.
All right, see.
I mean, man, as much as I never thought I'd hear myself say this as a lifelong not fan of LeBron, and it's so weird rooting for LeBron, man, as a Laker fan. Like, I am not the biggest LeBron fan for numerous reasons. Like off the court, he's one of the most stand-up guys in the world. But like on the court, I've had my gripes with him over the years. But yeah, I'm taking LeBron, and it's a toss-up between AD or I might take Giannis, to be honest with you, because LeBron over a lot of play more so than any other player that I've seen in our generation is a best passer I've seen, and he makes other players better. So I feel like you might get the best out of Giannis and take his game to the next level playing with him. That's just my theory.
Yeah.
Like he always makes other players better around him, always. So if a little bit of that secret sauce rubs off on, him, pause. As long as he gets a little bit of that magic, who knows what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, a healthy KD and LeBron is basically, what are you going to do about that? But as being putting my owner hat on, I'd be like, yeah, let's see what LeBron and Giannis could do, both healthy, both feeding off of each other, him facilitating Giannis. Maybe Giannis could take a big leap.
Yeah.
All right. So if I had the 1 and 2 pick, I'm going totally different direction than you guys.
Oh man,
Yeah,
are you? All right, go ahead. I have a bad feeling on who you're gonna pick.
You said what?
I have a bad feeling about who you're gonna pick. I think I know one of them.
DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry.
I was gonna say Dim Whittle was gonna be one of mine.
Dim Whittle.
Dim Whitty, Dame Diddy, Dame Daddy, or Dame Dummy. One of them.
That would be a good pick, but that's actually not my pick. I would take Luka.
Okay.
I almost said LeBron. Wow. So you going international?
Who?
Yeah, Luke, Joker.
Okay.
I almost said
enjoy your franchise, never win the championship.
I was gonna say LeBron and Luka for a second, but I don't know.
Yeah, no.
I don't think LeBron needs a guy like him because it would be too much. Yeah.
But
that's why I said Giannis.
I pick my guys off of talent, and do I think they'll mesh? I don't know if KD and LeBron will mesh.
Oh, they will mesh.
They would. Yeah.
Just watch USA basketball. That's all. That's all you need to say. It's not like they've never met each other before.
I mean, as long as I have a guarantee that KD don't get on that, I just don't need him to get on that burner account and start talking shit about me.
Oh, that burner be fully activated.
It needs to be deactivated if we're gonna play together. Like
if it's LeBron and KD, like he's on that burner all day.
Oh man, all right.
But nah. I don't think I think Luke is actually a really good selection. Like you said, starting the franchise. I don't think Jokic. I don't think he doesn't have too much longer until his game is figured out. Mm-hmm. Is it just his style? His style of play is something that could be replicated. Yeah, it can be replicated. And
it could be defended against under certain circumstances.
Exactly. So you could it's only a matter of time until there's a younger, more athletic guy that just completely shuts him down, like completely. Because a lot of his game is predicated off of he's big and he can go outside and shoot a little bit and he's skilled. He's just he's a very skilled big. It's only
like bigger than Gasol. He's finesse. He's bigger than Gasol.
It's only a matter of time.
Talking about Paul, not Mark.
Yeah, but it's only a matter of time till you have really like if you put like a Draymond Green type of guy on him, and he has to, you know what I mean, like that type of a matchup.
That energy that Draymond's going to give him.
Exactly, like not even that particular matchup, but someone who replicates that style of I'm going to play like Draymond Green, but I'm 2 inches taller. Like that. That's my. I hang my hat on like that's coming because it's all. You know what I mean, like.
We already saw instances of that in this past season that he can be neutralized.
Yeah,
I mean we saw it in the Western Conference Finals. Like he can be neutralized by a big athlete, somebody just as big as he is. I'm talking about like tall wise. I'm not talking about like weight wise.
Like Dwight's a problem. Dwight Howard was a problem for him because of his height and because of his athleticism. And imagine as time progresses when you get somebody who's big and athletic like Dwight, but offensively, they also can step outside and they can dribble and they can, the same thing. Like Joker, if you put the Joker on AD, it's over.
It's like that'd be very bad.
Yeah, it'll be over because his foot speed
would be like the Harlem Globetrotters versus those Washington Generals.
Exactly. It would be over. And you just wouldn't want to put AD on Joker for a whole game because you don't want him getting wore out with a big guy leaning on him. But in the fourth quarter, it's no problem. Like we need you for a quarter. Like, all right, I got it.
Yeah, give me 8 minutes. Yeah. That's the guy you want on him. As a matter of fact, I almost said Luka, but again, that was an excellent choice. But like I said, I stayed off of it because like he's already good. But I also feel like, what do you guys think about like Luka defensively overall? Because that's where I start to kind of like he's off of.
He's not awful. From the fact of one, if he is guarding someone, he's usually a much taller than them.
Yes.
So he can back off a little bit, and that helps him not just get blown by every second. So I don't think he's a great defender, but I think his height really helps him out as far as he doesn't necessarily need to be in a guard's pocket. Like he doesn't really need to be up on him, but his offensive game is so good that you kind of
you're willing to forgive that.
Yeah. You let it slide. You go get a Patrick Beverly.
That's like a hot chick that's messy. You willing to let us slide, baby? The dishes are there. I'll do them, baby.
There are maid services. There is a profession.
I like it.
You know. But no, I think for him, I think a lot of his career, he'll just go get a Tony Allen, a Patrick Beverly type to be the 2 guard for a long while until he feels it's whatever.
Right. So moving along, done with the NBA. Like I said, no special effects. Yeah. So we're going to move on to some world news. We're going to talk about some things that are going on in the United States of America.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Right.
Not so United States of America right now.
Definitely not united. Ooh. So they're talking about another stimulus check. And
listen, the same. I just want to listen. I know the CIA is listening. The same account. Use the same account number, same route, and like use the same route number. It's the same account you used last time. It's the same one. Always open for deposits.
So I don't know. It's supposed to be 600, and then Trump was like, "Nah, I'm not signing that. I want everybody to have 2,000." He said so. He caught me. I would say this is the first time Trump ever caught me. I was texting a couple friends of mine. I was like, "Dang, yo, he's not gonna sign it for the 6, but he's trying to give people 2,000 and then 4,000 for a household." I was like, "Yo, how's that going to work?" He was like, "That's just 2,000 per person." I was like, "Oh fuck." So he set it up to make it seem like he's going to give like couples more money, but he's really not.
No, he's really not. He's really not.
And I was like, "Oh shit, he got me," because I wasn't reading and paying attention.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, he got me. But so how do you feel about? So let me ask you this: how do you feel about the stimulus check overall? But take into account the stress that it puts on not the economy, but the national debt.
Okay. Cool. You want to go first?
No, please. No, go ahead.
All right. We're already all over the place, right? I believe the initial. So this is where you lose me. I'm not. Listen, I don't like to read a lot. I do like numbers though. I like to look at numbers. So where you lose me at is I believe we were asking for originally we asked for 3 trillion. Was it 3 trillion they were asking for?
I don't know.
I think it was 3 trillion. I think that was the original number. Was 3 trillion. Somehow this thing gets settled on at 900 billion, which is far off if we're talking numbers. Even though this is astronomical play money at this point because all of it's electronic, so it's not like it's actually going through a mint and being made. It's all electronic. So we talk about a huge gap in. Well, you were asking for 3 trillion. When Trump was firmly in office, now we're at 900 billion. So that first number is already like you've had people suffering over a political game. To me, anyway, that's how I take it, which is just crazy. Then the next thing is that people who have already sold off all of their things, all of their belongings, trying to pay rent, get groceries, XYZ, you hit them with $600 or $2,000. Any amount really doesn't matter to someone who's already sold off everything they have to maintain living. So it's just like, all right, it's whatever. The next thing is you give people $2,000, they're not going to go spend it because they don't know what's going to happen next. So it's not really stimulating anything. They're going to try to hold on to it for as long as they can because you don't know what's coming next. It's not like you're going to give out this 600. Definitely not this 600. That 600 is going to go to bills. So it's pretty much the way it's going to go. But it's not like you're giving out this 600 or this $2,000 and then people are like, I'm going to go out to small businesses and purchase and put this money back into the economy. it's more likely to happen that you're gonna give people $600, $2,000. They're gonna run to Macy's. Like that's just the way it's gonna go.
Yes,
exactly. So just give it out and let's see what. Like just like there's already been like you've already it's already been dragged out. It's 600. It's 2,000. Whatever it is, just give it out and get people out spending it, trying to help some people out at this point, because it just seems mathematically it seems off to me. Of we were asked for $3 trillion and you settled at $900 billion.
Man, I do agree that this isn't designed to. It's going to stimulate the economy. It's going to stimulate that retail and that online shopping economy.
Exactly.
It's not it's not going to do what they intended to do. But few things ever do in that regard. It just sounds good on paper that that's what they wanted to use for it. To start at the beginning, yes, it's a negotiation process, and the Republicans go high, Democrats go low, Democrats go high, Republicans go low. So the $3 trillion was over and above. It obviously wasn't going to be that, but they just wanted to start at a spot where they were like, all right, well, I want this. And then they're like, well, we're not doing that. Well, we want this. And it's like, you go low, I go high, and we'll meet in the middle. Eventually to land at this, there is a theory that has circulated around that the Democrats blocked this stimulus because they didn't want Trump to gain any extra traction. Nancy Pelosi took the brunt of that. She's a mastermind. She's just the Speaker of the House. She's the de facto spokesperson. Like she doesn't run the House of Representatives. She's just been elected. She's been nominated to be the orator, to talk and be out in front. But I do think that there is a modicum of truth to that.
Absolutely.
I thought that from day one, and I still think that now. And I hate to say this, politics is a dirty business, and it's chess, not checkers. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily disagree. Like, okay, if you're telling me that this is one of the things that helped get Donald Trump out of office without getting too political, okay, that's a pill I'm willing to swallow. However, for Nancy Pelosi then a week ago or 6 days ago to get up and say, $600 is not as much as we would have wanted, which is not necessarily true, but it's a substantial number, I think was an absolute slap in the face. I think that you got a president who has made such a mockery of this office. For the first time when he had that press conference last night, I was sitting there like, I mean, the guy is a clown, but he's a talking head, but I don't know where the lie was in that sentence, and he does nothing but lie.
So I think, go ahead.
So when he got up there, a lot of it was to make himself sound good because he still thinks he can overturn the election. So he's the guy that when you shake his hand, he's gonna check your pockets when you walk away type of guy. But that being said, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats. I'm a Democrat, and I will say this: the one problem with the Democratic Party is when you break down what they want to spend this money on, and then taking the money away, like you said, Snell. $600 is nothing. All these other countries that are less mechanized than us, less industrialized than us, are getting way more a month than we're getting this. You want to give money to Israel. You want to give money to South America. You want to pump hundreds of billions of dollars into the Smithsonian Institute for preservation. I love the Democratic Party, but there's faults in the Republican Party, but the one fault above all the Democratic Party, they always try to do the most. Always try to do too much. Always trying to save the world. We don't need you to save the world. We need you to save us right now.
Yeah.
We need to take care of us right now. Stop trying to save Israel. Stop trying to do. You wanted to save Vietnam. We saw what happened with that. You wanted to save the Middle East. But you really wanted to keep the oil reserves. We see how that happened. Stop trying to save the world. Let's just do a deal. Get us more money than $600, and stop blaming Nancy Pelosi for everything. And I think we'd get somewhere. Like, I don't need $200 billion to go to Smithsonian. I've been there. It's nice. I don't know. I mean, like, we need more. Great place. It's preserved. Let's not worry about Israel.
Just charge people to go in instead of making it free.
You're already charging like $100 and some dollars to get in. Like, Israel has been in turmoil for 2,000 years. Like, it will continue to happen. They will work. It's not we don't have a nickel in that quarter, and America has always been trying to put their 2 cents in, and at the expense of the American people. You, Snell, Utah, me, like, we are in positions where we are old enough to watch the news, read the paper, understand what's going on, and it makes I feel like it makes America look bad how this whole thing is unfolded. And I say that as a proud American. We look bad right now with this whole thing. Look real bad.
All right. So my whole take on it, I just want to say this first. IRS, if you're listening, don't send me that money because I don't need it.
Send that to me.
Yeah. and send the other half to me.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's where we should really be looking at it. There should be a process to say, all right, who needs this money, and then send them the money. But
I think that'd be going down the rabbit hole, man.
Yeah, that's
people be finessing,
and that's the thing. It's at a point where I know what I'm going to do with the money. I don't know what somebody else is going to do with the money. So give it to me because I know where I'm going to put it.
I'm going right to Robinhood and I'm investing it, and I'm going to make 5,000 out of the 1,200 that they give me. But anyway,
but this is the thing though, that's exactly what they don't understand is that if you give it to someone without a lack of knowledge, somebody really thinks like, hey, I'm about to go to Robinhood and retire with this 600. When it's like, no, you know what I mean?
But then you got the guys that are going to go buy a PS5 with that $600.
Exactly. So
you don't need that money then. You don't need that money.
But that's what I'm saying. But if it's me, like I said, take that money, put it. If you don't really need it, you can afford to put it away. Or I know obviously I know Ty. So I already know you donate, and you're already doing stuff. So this isn't like, hey, I need to take this 600 and do so. Like you're already doing stuff. So that's different. But like some people are like, yeah, like they're gonna just take it and hold it and. Like you said, now's the time to start investing. Like, bro, listen, go, let's go do something. Pay your bills. Go to somewhere local that you usually go to. Have a night out. Spend a little more than you should. Tip a little more than you should.
Absolutely.
Like those type things. Like some people should be doing that with that money. Yeah. And I don't
support your friends' businesses that are like trying to get off the ground.
I don't like you said. I don't see that happening. I see the PS5 back order, the Xbox. I see those. I see that back order just going up.
Yeah, I see it going up. You see those same people who like to talk about, we need to buy black. We need to put money in our community. And you're going on H&M.com. You going on PlayStation Online. You go, like you say, you going straight to Macy's. You going to Gucci.com. You think these people? Let's say that. You think these people really care about you? You think these people are saying thank you for your business? They're laughing at you.
Yeah,
they're laughing at you like, damn, you took the money the government gave you, gave it right back to us because we already got bailed out.
Yeah.
We already got bailed out. So now this is it's literally like you're walking down the street and money's falling out of the sky and you're like, I'll take 600 here, 600 there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They never saw these luxury brands and like PlayStation. They never saw it so good because people should be saving their money or investing their money and they're spending it on things that depreciate.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we all do. We all have things like we work hard. We like nice things. You know what I mean?
We all have our vices. But,
but I know how to be smart at the same time. But we represent the minority in this country, sadly.
Yeah, I used to buy sneakers. Now I buy stock. But
you can do both. You know what I mean? It's just it's about finding the balance. But at the same time, Tal,
I don't have the money to do both.
See, but then you chose the right thing. Then you know what I mean. But you're one guy. There's 100,000 guys that want those new Spike Lee Jordans. Like
they want to stand in line for them, George. You can kiss my ass.
Yeah, come on. And Michael Jordan's like, let me light my cigar with this $100 bill. Like
exactly.
So my other thing about that is like I see on the what is the Instagram, right? The one of you guys said earlier how other countries like they've been giving out more money.
Yeah,
to,
we're at the bottom in the world with relief.
Yeah, we're at the bottom.
Yeah,
for relief. But I will say, as a person who I'm in the military, so I've traveled all over the world, and not to resorts. I've traveled to military bases. And had some kind of like talking with people, doing sign language or whatever it is we use to communicate, and they're able to give these people more money, and not to say, not to talk bad about their country, but let me tell you something. It's not America.
Yeah.
It's a total different environment, atmosphere. Like
True.
it's
Like I said, it's not as a lot of these places aren't as industrialized as we are and as developed. Yeah, I agree.
So look at it like this: like if you go over there, you'll see why somebody might get 2,000 a month, but then you'd be happy to come back here and not get that 2,000 a month. Like trust me,
there's no disagreement there at all.
It's a difference. Like a lot of people say, they can't wait to leave the country to do what? Go vacation? Because I hope you're not trying to go somewhere else and live. Because for one, you've been in America for most of your adult life and all of your childhood life. It's totally different. Like just the air is different. The smell of the air is different. You know what I mean? Like it's just a different atmosphere. And I don't want people to jump the gun and make it seem like
the grass is way greener over there.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no. And I'm not trashing other nations because there's plenty of other nations that have their shit together. Like, and there's plenty that don't. But you know what's sad about that though, Todd? Like yes, it is true. Like this is the greatest country in the world overall, but we got people that are living just as bad as those people in those third world underdeveloped countries right here in our backyard, man.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean. That's the crazy thing about it. Like,
and you can ask me any day, and I tell you one of the most not valued enough or devalued pockets of the United States citizenship, I guess, is you could say the military, because we're 1%, and for one, we don't get paid enough, and two, like homeless veterans make up a big number of the homeless population. You know what I mean? And people love to say, "Oh, you're not supposed to American." No, the fuck you don't. Like people say they're patriotic. No, the fuck you're not, because you didn't sign up. You're not patriotic. You kiss my ass with that shit.
No, it really is sad, like how veterans are treated, especially veterans of like wars and like disabled vets. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
And I mean, I don't say that because I want people to understand it, because it's hard to understand unless you're in it. Like you don't see it unless you're in the house. You know what I mean? And I'm in the house. I've been in the house for 14 years, so I see it. I know what it's about, and I live it every day. So it's a lot different. You know what I mean?
Well, it hits home, and it resonates different with you because you're from the inside looking out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It resonates more because you're invested into it. Like, man, like I know these people personally that might have fallen on hard times, or one of their parents or one of their brothers. Like, for us, like I've donated to the Wounded Warrior Project before, but like outside of that, like there's nobody in my family that is a veteran that was in a war that's been neglected. Like, so I didn't serve alongside someone. So yeah, your insight is different. Yeah. And if anything, I feel like today it's gotten a little bit better, but like from a minority standpoint, the minority veterans get it even harder. Back in the day, it was way worse, and now I feel like maybe now it's a little bit better, but I feel like there's always going to be a disparity.
I mean, and not even talking about the veterans, but talking about active duty. They just released a report 2 days ago from the Air Force about the disparity, about the minority not getting the same promotion rates.
It hasn't changed.
Not being treated the same under the UCMJ. We're prosecuted harder, and the career development path is totally different. So, I mean, yes, there is still the military. So,
Tahim, do you think that's like how they say like everyone has their problems with the Supreme Court, the people that are on that serve on it, and it's like, oh, just wait 10 or 15 years, they'll all be dead and gone, because they represent a group of people of a certain minority of a certain age from a certain time, and those are the people that are in power. Mm-hmm. Once they leave, it might get a little better. Do you think that's the same feeling in the military? Like the upper echelon, the upper staff is older white guys is that because of it? Because at some point there's a trickle down effect, right?
Yeah, but I will tell you this, and I think this goes with the actual foundation of the United States. I think right now there aren't a lot of racist people in the military. I don't think there's a lot of racist people in government, but the United States was built off racism. The organization itself is racist. So the laws and the procedures are inherently racist, not the people in it. They're just following the rules. And because they've been following the rules for so long, well, the rules, to their knowledge, They don't see the racism in it because, for one, they're not me, they're not Mo, they're not Shiz. They don't know what it feels like to live in these shoes. So I think people get a little confused. So like America is racist, but a lot of American people aren't racist, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense.
The institution itself is not set up. So in order to fix that, what you have to do is you have to break that system down. But two reasons why it's very hard to do that is because the minority is the minority. It's not the majority.
Yeah.
So the majority doesn't feel the effects of it, so they're not going to go out of the way to fix something for a smaller percentage of people.
It's out of sight, out of mind if it doesn't necessarily affect their everyday life.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's one reason why it's not going to get changed. And another reason why, because we don't have enough African Americans in positions of power to change it. And you have to be
it's a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle.
It is, and it's also it's almost like to keep it sports related. It's like NFL ownership. Like there's not many seats. It's already limited. Like there's very limited spots, and we're not making new teams to make it available for somebody else. You have to wait for one of these spots. Yeah. So the change that occurs is like very, 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 very slow because it's just limited seats. And when you talk about the Steelers, right? As an organization, we'll use the Steelers have one owner, one family own it the whole time. The Cowboys, maybe two or three?
It was two. It was Tex Schramm and Jerry Jones.
So two. So when you start talking about things that have, like, even as far as coaches, like, it's more diverse now than it was in the 80s, but it's like it's going from like one or two to 6
or 3.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's a very, very slow turnover. And I feel the same way about government, about military. Like there's only one Colin Powell. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's only one seat there. There's only one guy. Like, so that change. That change. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, okay. Like, oh, like there was an African American who held that position. So now that we
got to get another one.
Exactly. That change to know it can happen is very slow. It's a very slow turnover, and it's something it needs to happen first before people kind of believe that they could do that also. And it's just a long process. It doesn't help. Like, it doesn't really necessarily help like us in our immediate, like, we're like times is bad right now.
It's more of a generational thing, because if you look at like the first non-older Protestant Catholic, not Catholic, like Protestant, you know what I mean, white guys that were in position of power in this country, it happened at a time in the 60s and in late 70s. It's like literally like that was their generational thing. Like, all right, well, we're gonna have the first, commander of the army. We're gonna have the first Supreme Court Justice, Clarence Thomas. You're gonna Thurgood Marshall. You're gonna have your spot you're gonna have your spot. Then it's Clarence Thomas. Now we come to 2020, and I don't know why we haven't made more progress, because like Taheem said, more so than ever before, this country is very racist, it's very divisive, but more than ever, there is more inclusion than ever before. Now, it is all about the money, and I'm glad that we're talking about this, because have you guys been keeping up with there's that story about the chick that worked at Google?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Mo, just the broad strokes. There was this girl from California was brought in because I think it was however long Google's been in operation, there was never a single tech person from an HBCU. People started complaining about it. So Google, being smart, said, okay, we got to bring somebody in to kind of like figure out the problem and see why. She got in, and there was a 300% increase in Black, brown, male and female high-ranking techs. Not a 300 increase from the number, 300% increase from 0. So 300 new people on her watch. Yeah. She uncovered all this, like Taheem was saying, not with the people themselves, but the systematic, like if their names had too many syllables, this is how crazy. If their name had too many syllables, they'd immediately get put to the bottom of the pile. Or if they didn't immediately recognize the college, it would be like, oh, that's like they're just making this up. I've never heard of this college.
Because I can tell you right now, 100%. I know I've not gotten opportunities in the military because of my name,
and that's disgusting. That is disgusting.
You could just, you look at my name on a piece of paper and tell them I'm African American, and I know I've not gotten opportunities because of
that's disgusting. So this girl, hugely successful black woman, all of a sudden now, because she's so successful, they start nitpicking. You're going up against Google. It's like going up against the Supreme Court. They systematically broke her position down to the point where she was let go. She wasn't fired, but she was like indefinitely suspended or whatever fancy term you want to call it. And then instead of like taking her another job someplace else, she spoke out about it. Like, yo, they put me. They're not progressive like they're claiming. They're not taking the next step. They hired me because
they wanted to cover
25 years there was not a single black person in a tech position at a company that's the biggest tech company in the world, biggest tech company in the entire planet. 300 people that she hired. And the craziest thing about that is we say it's inclusion, it's 2020, it's great. I think these companies are smart. They want to do something like that because it's not the right thing to do, but it makes dollars and cents.
Yeah. It's the same thing. Like if you ever watch Social Dilemma and on Netflix, a lot of those people who work. So it's about a lot of people who worked in the tech industry, and they're like, yeah, we don't let our kids use social media, like flat out.
Yeah,
like they don't, because they know what it is. They know the secret how the sausage is made.
It's just like the person that's the cigarette company, like CEO, like, oh I would never have anybody smoke cigarettes in my family, but thank you for your money.
Yeah, exactly. You're hiring. So it's that. So I don't, from her story, I don't doubt it at all. I'm sure that's the scenario.
Oh yeah, they're running a smear campaign against her, downplaying her allegations and everything, and talking about her conduct in the workplace. She got into it with multiple people, and she had to take attitude readjustment courses. Crazy things. Thinly veiled sentences.
Yeah, the angry black woman narrative. I know.
Yeah, and the sad thing is, there's plenty of white people at this company that are great. Like, and once again, this is not an indictment on black people and not an indictment on white people. I'm biracial. I equally respect all people if you respect me. However, I would be remiss as a black man in this country, that the way my father raised me, if I did not speak on these things, because my dad went through that. My grandfather, absolutely. He was a black millionaire at a time where they called him boy as a 40-year-old man.
Yeah.
And it was acceptable.
Yeah.
So once again, as the man that I was raised, a man of principle and dignity, like, once again, my mother's white as a driven snow, and she's a saint, and I love her to death. And there's plenty of good white people, there's plenty of good black people in this world, but we can't sit here as black men. I think it's healthy that we have these conversations, because too many other people are just saying, oh, those racist ass white people. It's like, no. It's the racist system. Yeah, see, now you're thinking they want that's how they want you to think. Because you're not challenging the system, then you're just focusing on the person.
Yep. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, dude. Like, that's like they want you to focus on the wrong thing. It's almost like a parlor trick. Like, look what I'm doing in this hand, and in this hand I'm really doing the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it is, dude. I think it's healthy we have these guys. Yeah, I think it's healthy that we have as young men in this country. I think that it's healthy to have these conversations and bring these issues to light, because if we don't, it's just gonna be the same old cliche, like, oh well, it's never going to change, like it's just the system. Like, no, dude, it's not the people in place. I think, Taim, you're exactly correct. It's the system has gotten so big that it can't be it's like this Frankenstein creation now. Like, it's just been set in stone for so many years that how can you change it? That's the $1 million question.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up there. This is episode 112 of the Second and One podcast. If you need any shout outs, if you want to send us any money, if you want to send us your stimulus check, You send it to this stuff that here on the bottom.
I'm telling you, send me that stimulus.
Send me your stimulus check.
CIA, I know y'all listening.
I'm telling you, man. Let me know.
Well, Taheem said he didn't want it, so you sent 1,000 to Mr. Snell. You sent it to Mr. Charles Ransom Polk.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
You can send me 300 of mine in Harris chips too.
You can send mine in a voucher to Borgata Spa. Right?
Yeah. All right, listen, man. Is that AC opened up yet? Is that back?
I mean, listen,
it's open.
It's open for business. There's money to be made.
All right, yeah, because my birthday is February 13th. That's 2 months. We got time to.
I don't know if it's that open, man. I don't know.
I don't know if it's that open. That vaccination Walmart.
The entertainment industry. The entertainment industry in AC is not bad. The food is good down there too. I got a good restaurant to take you to, Taheem. I got you.
All right, man. So this is Charles Ransom Polk, Brother Mo Snell, and this is Taheem. We are signing off. Thank you very much for listening and watching.